Hello guys, it's Slippery Jack and welcome back to another video. Today I am reviewing the new album by Plaid, Polymer. Okay, so it's finally time for me to cover my first real new release. I remember hearing about this album and I was like, oh my goodness, Plaid is releasing a new album. I've gotta keep an eye out for that. But anyway, it's just not very often where I'm actually expecting a new album and then it comes out. And you may remember that I reviewed the Arctic Monkeys Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, which wasn't really that new, but I reviewed it anyway just because. But this time it's a real new release. This came out, what was it, like 4 or 3 days ago? But yeah, so in case you don't know, Plaid is an English IDM group, a bit like Aphex Twin, but they kind of took the IDM sound and made it their own. They were one of those groups that just kind of built off of the foundation that Aphex Twin lied. They have like this unique sound to their music, which makes it kind of weird, but also a ton of fun too. I'll talk about some of their albums, like there's their first album, Not for Threes, well, their second album, which was actually a really good album. It's considered one of their best. It's considered their best by most people, and one of the greatest there's ever been in IDM. And it was not an easy album for me to get into, but after getting into it, it's probably still my favorite. My second favorite, I would have to say, is probably Double Figure. It doesn't have that weirdness, and it's a lot more accessible and easy to get into, but it's still a really awesome album and provides an enjoyable listening experience from front to back. Rest-Proof Clockwork, I feel kind of lacked in melody, but it was still a lot of fun and interesting. There was also, what was that other one? Scintilla, I think that's how you pronounce it. That was also quite a good one, and yeah, I really liked that one front to back. And their previous album, The Digging Remedy, that was, I was actually quite impressed with it. It was, I don't know if I can say that it's better than Scintilla, but it was, it still had lots of great tracks and it was still a ton of fun. It was very different for Plaid. It kind of had a little bit of modern elements in their music, but it's still definitely their sound. So let's fast forward to here. So it has been 3 years since The Digging Remedy, and I was on the internet and I was just like, I just like searched up some stuff about Plaid, and I heard they're releasing a new beat-driven dance floor album, Polymer, and I was like, they're doing a dance album? Plaid and EDM, that doesn't sound like the Plaid I know, but I want to hear it. If I hear like any of the IDM artists that I'm a fan of are doing something among the EDM, kind of doing something EDM instead, I'm gonna want to hear it. So then I saw that they had released a few tracks from this album, and I saw there was Maru, and I went and listened to it, and it wasn't quite what I was expecting. I didn't really like it that much, but then it has grown on me a lot. It has like this repetitive, almost drum kind of sound. I can't tell what it is, but then it's got like a lot of warm melodies too, and I was like, huh, I'd like to hear the rest of the album. I wonder what it's all gonna sound like. Then when it was actually released and I went and listened to it, I was in for quite a surprise. For one thing, it was definitely not an EDM album. I must have interpreted it wrong. It's still very IDM, but I feel like it's more of Plaid's early sound, but it's nothing that they've done previously. I'd say that the album that it resembles the most is probably Double Figure, because it's got like that same warmth, and it's got like some, and it's also mainly melody driven too, but like, well, I'd say it's got like the perfect combination of beats and melodies. But there's also a lot of variety here too. There's some tracks that, but I think that overall it all comes together really well. The first track, Meds Fade, is I didn't really care for this one at first because it just kind of relaxed the melody. It's mainly just like this acid bass kind of thing. But then, come to think of it, I couldn't imagine the album starting any other way than this. So yeah, Meds Fade is pretty enjoyable. It's not one of the best things Plaid has ever done, but it's still, yeah, enjoyable. Ghosts is where the album really starts to get going though. It's got like all these melodies and beats that are just going all over the place, and it's almost, you're like, what am I listening to? But here's the cool thing about this track. After you listen to it, like, if you really concentrate on it, at first it sounds like it's abstract and has no rhyme or reason. But after like 2 minutes into it, you start to like piece the melody together, and it feels like it just like sticks together much better. It's probably because it's so complex. And also the ending too is when like it really comes together. So yeah, Los is a great track. And then I already discussed a little bit of Maru. I love the warm melodies on here. It sounds almost like it could be like a party banger, but then also it has like that feel in it, like you're seeing something for the first time. And it's grown on me quite a bit, and it's probably one of my favorites from the album. Ops is a lot darker. Not as dark as Meds Fade though, but it's still got like these warm melodies on it. And it's yeah, the melodies here are beautiful. Drowned Sea doesn't start out like very melodic, but just like some off-kilter drumming and like this weird noise that I've heard it in Plaid's music a lot before, but I don't know how to describe it. But then in the end, the melody comes in, and this is when the track is probably at its best, but overall it's an enjoyable track all the way through. The Pale Moth is the most interesting track on here. It starts out like it's got like some acoustic guitars in it too. By the way, Plaid does use a lot of acoustic instruments in their music, and they have like some organic sounding tracks, but mostly electronic tracks, but they always create like the perfect balance. Eventually the acoustic guitars will usually fade out, but I like most of it, you're hearing like these, I can't really tell what kind of instruments it is. It sounds like probably some horns or flutes, maybe violins or accordions that are kind of together. It's an interesting track. You'd have to go and listen to it yourself to get the real experience. And it also wouldn't be out of place on Double Figure. It's got kind of that same, it just behaves the same way as a lot of the stuff on it, and has a very similar mood. Dancers is one of the most beautiful tracks on the album. It's probably the most accessible. but I love the melodies here. It's just so catchy. It's got like, it's playful. It's like got it's like partly happy, but it's also got a touch of melancholy too. And yeah, just awesome. Just an awesome track. Nurula has some beautiful melodies, and it sounds a lot like Orbital's The Girl with the Sun in Her Head. Is that what it was called? The Girl with the Sun in Her Head? Yeah, I swear it sounds just like it. And it's also got like some acoustic guitars too that eventually fade out, but you don't really, it's almost like unnoticeable. But yeah, once again, another standout track. Recall is just like a dark interlude, a bit like Med's Fade. But I like it here a lot better because it just kind of adds some variety in between the more melodic tracks. All to Get Her isn't really much of a standout for me, but I like the cheerful melodies and its playful nature. Dust is it's a little darker, but oh man, I love this track. I swear this sounds like an Andreas Vollenweider track. By the way, go check him out if you have not, because he's a very talented artist. But yeah, this sounds so much like Andreas Vollenweider, but a lot more electronic. And yeah, just a beautiful track. Crown Shy, I wouldn't say is, it was kind of a weird placement for Crown Shy. Once you listen to a few seconds of it, you're like, oh, the album's ending. Oh, this is the end of the album. But then as soon as it does end, there's Praze, which is the most acoustic and organic track on the album, but still some of Plaid's electronic stuff on it. And I love Praise a lot more than Crown Shy. It's just like so much, it's mainly because I like the acoustic guitar in it, and it just has like this really beachy kind of sound to it. Almost like you're on the seaside and it's all windy and you're looking down a cliff at the ocean. This is another really beautiful track. So overall, I am quite impressed with Polymer. And I swear, this outdoes the Digging Remedy by far. It's a lot more, the melodies here are some of the best that Plaid has ever done. And I think it's their best album since like Double Figure. In fact, it's arguably better. I can't say that it's better than Double Figure, because Double Figure was longer and it has like a lot more, it just feels like it's been more of a part of my life. But I think that once Polymer gets a little older, it will be up there and probably one of my favorites from Plaid. Well, you know what? Heck, it already is. And please go and listen to this album. Support Plaid by going and streaming it as much as you can today. It already got #1 in the French electronic charts, and it's almost in the top 100 in England. So yeah, go listen to it. And Plaid, if you're watching this right now, thank you so much. So that's all for today. Like and subscribe for more entertainment, and spread the word of this new album. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. I just can't do these outros, but bye. I can